Hi, everyone. My name is Josiah Coulter, and my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm coming to you today from the Clark College Counseling and Health Center to talk to you a little bit about coming out and what that looks like. So, before we begin, I'd like you to reflect on these questions for yourself. Maybe pause the video, write down any answers you may have. The first question is, when you think of coming out, what does that look like to you? Do you have any fears about coming out? And if so, what are they? And lastly, do you have any hopes about coming out? And if so, what are they? All right, let's get started. Okay, so what is coming out? So, the University of Washington Counseling Center describes coming out as a process of understanding, accepting, and valuing your sexual orientation/identity. It involves both exploring your identity and sharing your identity with others. And I also want to add a little bit to this. It's not just your sexual orientation, it can be your gender identity as well. So, for example, you may come out as gay, you may come out as trans, you may come out as non binary. There are many different identities that you can come out as. It's not just sexual orientation. Coming out's scary. It's scary, it's stressful for many people. And I just want to emphasize that that's totally normal. I myself identify as gay, and a little later, I'm going to talk about my own coming out story. But I just want to say that I was terrified to come out. And it was a stressful, both a stressful and enriching experience. I just want to say that if you're experiencing stress or fear about coming out, you are not alone and you are not abnormal. And I just want to say there's no correct way to come out. So everyone has a unique journey. There are lots of ways to do it. And you will learn about the way I did it, but maybe that's not appropriate for your situation. So it can look a lot of different ways. So there are these stages of coming out, and coming out is not linear. It's not a perfect 1, 2, 3, but these are 3 common stages that you may go through during the coming out process. So first is coming out to yourself, really kind of becoming aware of the fact that perhaps you are gay or queer or trans. Really realizing that aspect of your identity and recognizing it, accepting it, and exploring it. Often, queer people come out to other LGBTQ individuals first because they may be seen as a safer person to talk to and may be seen as someone who can help them explore the coming out process, if that makes sense. And lastly is coming out to others, maybe individuals who are not part of the LGBTQ community, folks who may or may not be as understanding of your identity. No correct way to come out. So you do not need to check off every single one of these like, a box. So just consider what is going to be most appropriate and helpful for you. So like I said, many individuals often come out to another gay or queer person first. And that kind of falls in line with this first bullet point. If possible, pick someone trustworthy and supportive to come out to first. That person may not be part of the LGBTQ community. Perhaps they're just a really accepting and supportive ally, someone you know well, and who you know will have your back no matter what. That can be really helpful to have somebody in your corner when you come out to other people who may not be as accepting and who may not take the coming out news quite as well. Practice what to say and when to say it. This can be really helpful if you're getting really nervous about the exact wording. Write it down, practice it, and think about when you'll do it. Um, Depending on your family, perhaps coming out over Thanksgiving dinner is not the best idea. Maybe it totally is in your family, and that's valid too. But think about what's going to be, most importantly, what's going to be the least stressful for you. So think about that timing. Think about what you're going to say. Be honest, both with yourself and others, and be patient, both with others and with yourself. Unfortunately, we do live in a world that is not um, accepting sometimes of gay, queer, trans people. And so you may have to prepare yourself for negative reactions. There may be people in your life who don't take the news well. So make sure you prepare yourself for that, consider that, keep your safety in mind. And going back to that first bullet point, this is why it can be a great idea to have somebody who you know will be supportive in your corner, somebody that you can go to if there is a negative reaction towards your identity. This can be really hard to believe in the moment, but I just really want to remind you that your value and worth are not dependent on others' approval. You matter as a human being, and nobody can take that away from you. Process the experience with supportive friends. Talk about it. Talk about how it went. Maybe you've come out to one person and not to somebody else. So, think about, okay, what went right? What do I want to do next time? What do I not want to do next time? How am I feeling about it? What am I thinking about it? What are my bodily reactions to what's happening? Consider all of those aspects. And lastly, engage in self care. So take care of yourself and do something that is relaxing and enjoyable for you after you come out, if possible. Because it's really important to really make sure that you are keeping yourself that you are keeping yourself safe and really taking care of yourself. Okay, so there is this concept known as the coming out cycle. So coming out's not a one-time event, unfortunately. I would love to be able to just come out and have all 7 billion people on the earth know, but that's not possible. So we often have to come out multiple times to different sets of family members, new friends, or new workplaces. So I already did earlier on in the presentation, but I identify as a gay man. And that's me coming out to you, the listener, or the viewer. So that's me coming out again to somebody that I don't know. I have no idea who's on the other side of this video watching me, and so that's me coming out to you. And so every time that you are aware that you may need to come out, there are important questions to ask, and that's, should I come out to this specific person or in this specific setting? And there's this kind of decision-making model that you can see here down at the bottom. The first step is awareness. So that's when you become aware of the fact that you are not out in a specific setting, and that the potential of coming out is on the table. Assessment is really asking yourself the question, if you should come out. Is it appropriate to come out in this setting? And well, I don't love that word appropriate. It's always appropriate to be who you are. I'm going to retract that. It is always appropriate to be who you are. Big question to ask is it safe to come out? Again, unfortunately, there are people in the world who are not accepting, and it may not be very safe to come out to those individuals. So you need to ask yourself, is it safe to come out in this setting? Do I feel confident to come out in this setting? How will I feel if I come out to this person or in this setting? These are really important questions to ask, and you are not required to come out to every single person in the world. So it's up to you. to who you come out, when you come out, where you come out. And lastly is that decision. So um, that decision is, do you come out to this person or in this setting, or do you decide not to? Do you decide it's not necessary at this time or with these people? And whatever decision you make, they are both valid. Okay, so a little bit about my own coming out story. So I realized I was gay in middle school, but I didn't really have the vocabulary for it. By the time I reached high school, I did have the vocabulary. I knew what the word gay meant, and I knew that I was gay. However, I didn't feel comfortable coming out at that point. I had accepted it in myself, but I was not ready to tell anybody else. So when I went to college, I met a lot of gay, queer, and trans people, both students and professors. I took classes that talked about these subjects, and I also went to the counseling center at my college and talked to a counselor about my sexual orientation. And during that freshman year, I became a lot more comfortable with the idea of coming out. So I decided that I would come out to my family first during the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of college. And kind of like that list that was in there, kind of the considerations for coming out, I decided I would come out to somebody who I knew would have my back no matter what. So I came out to my brother first because I knew that he would be completely accepting of me. And then I kind of went down the list of my family members in order from those who I felt would be most accepting to those who I would have who would be least accepting. That way, for me, it was kind of like gathering members of an army. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have the most accepting ones, and every time I then have to come out to a new family member, I have someone else behind me, or at least that's what I thought. What was interesting is that actually some of the people who I thought would be more accepting were not, and some who I was most worried about actually had no problem with it. So you'll never know what kind of reactions you get. But luckily, the first person I came out to, my brother, was very accepting and was a great support to me during that time. After my family, I decided to come out to close friends. My best friends and close family friends, I told my family members that they could tell their close friends. And so I kind of widened that circle a little bit. This was over the course of about 9 months. It was not something that I just did snap all in like one day or in a week or something. It was a very gradual process because I wanted to, but kind of between each person coming out, I really wanted to be able to process the experience and talk about it with that person. Again, this is just my experience, what was best for me. That does not mean that it's what's best for you. Maybe coming out all at once to everybody is what's best for you, and that is valid. Coming out looks different for everybody. It's just my story. And then lastly, after about that 9 months, I decided to come out on social media. So as a millennial, social media is a big part of my life. So I made a post on my social media pages, and I lost some friends, but I also gained so much support and so much respect from so many more people. And it was a really, for me, it was a really positive experience. I also realized that I'm pretty privileged in that respect. Coming out is not always a positive experience for some folks. And that's why it's important to have those really supportive friends in your life. And talk a little bit more about this, but to utilize the counseling service if you are in a situation where you feel like you can't talk to anybody or don't have any support. So we've talked a little bit about what it would look like for you to come out, but what about when someone comes out to you? Maybe you're a straight cisgender person watching this, and your best friend just came out to you. Well, what next? First of all, thank them. Coming out is not easy. It's scary. It's stressful. And if somebody takes the time to come out to you, um, know that it's taking a lot of mental and emotional energy. So thank them for being brave and doing that. Be supportive and encouraging of them. Ask them what they need from you. You may have questions, but get permission before asking them. Someone may not be willing to answer questions right away or at all, and they may not have the answers to everything that you may want to ask. Educate yourself on your own time. Don't use the person as, a gay dictionary or something for you to learn about queer people. Use online resources, read books. There's great television and media, and utilize resources to just kind of get better acquainted with, what their identity means. And lastly, do not out the person to anyone else. Respect their privacy. Coming out is a very personal decision, and it is not your decision to make for anybody else. So just don't do it. Okay. So we're almost at the end of our presentation here. I'd like you to take some time, maybe pause the video, write down the answers to these questions, just reflect on these questions that I have posted here. If you're considering coming out, who might you come out to first? What might you say when you come out? How are you feeling about the coming out process? And lastly, how will you respond if someone comes out to you? All right, so if you are considering coming out and having questions or concerns about it, or maybe you have just questions and concerns that are totally unrelated to coming out, you can contact the Clark College Counseling and Health Center, the CHC, either by phone or email to talk to a licensed mental health practitioner. And the best part is CHC services are free to currently enrolled students. So take advantage of that free mental health care and come talk to us. Here are my references. I hope that you have learned something today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.